Good afternoon, students. Welcome once again to the video classes presented to you by Sri Vidyamandir Uthangarai. Students, today we are going to look into the 12th standard lesson number 6 on the rule of the road by A.G. Gardiner. On the rule of the road by A.G. Gardiner is an interesting and educative as informative essay taken from one of his compilations, Leaves in the Wind. It talks about, as the title suggests, it talks about the rules of the road and its observance. It talks about the use of liberty, both private and social. It talks on the need to create a meaningful society, on the need to create a civilized society by curtailing one's rights, one's individual liberties to an extent so that our liberty can become a reality. It talks how we can create a civilized society by curtailing our individual rights. The theme of this essay is liberty, equality, and control. Now, let us know a few details about the author A.G. Gardiner. Alfred George Gardiner was a famous British author, an essayist who became a journalist and an editor later. He was born on the 2nd of June in 1865 at Chesterford, and after gracing this world and illuminating this world by serving as an author, as an essayist, as a journalist, and an editor, he passed away on the 3rd of March 1946. Initially, during his early age, he worked at the Chelmsford Chronicle, at the Bournemouth Directory, and the Northern Daily Telegraph. He also worked and became the editor of Blackberry Daily Telegraph. Later, in 1902, he became the editor of the prominent Daily News. And it was under his guidance and direction that this journal, Daily News, became one of the leading journals of the time, competing with other prominent journals like the Daily Mail. Gardiner has contributed a lot under the pen name Alpha of the Plough. He has written a lot of essays and his well-known writings under the pen name Alpha of the Plough. His essays are very simple. His essays like on habits, on being tidy, on talk and talkers, on the rule of the road, etc. They all talk about the etiquettes and the methods of social conduct that are required to be considered civilized. His essays are very simple and easy and at times even sarcastic, but they are very highly regarded. In total, all his narratives are simple, easy, attractive, charming, elegant, graceful, and humorous. Some of the popular works, some of his best known popular works are Pebbles on the Shore, Pillars of the Society, Many Furrows, and Leaves in the Wind. All these narratives deals with social issues and the methods of behaving in a civilized manner. These are a few details that you have seen about the author, A.G. Gardiner, that is Alfred George Gardiner, who wrote largely under the pen name Alpha of the Plot. Now, before going into the lesson, this is a very short and sweet lesson, the essay which is in the form of a lesson. Let us go through the glossary to understand some of the difficult words that we may encounter while reading the lesson, that we may confront while reading the lessons. Let us have a look at the glossary. The glossary. Chaos. Chaos means confusion, disorder, confusion. Chaos. If you misuse the rules, the result will be a universal chaos. Chaos. Peril. Peril means risk, danger, risk, danger. He has put himself in a great peril by starting another branch so soon. Peril is risk. Pedestrian. Pedestrians means people who walk on the streets. People who walk on the streets, on the pavement. They are called pedestrians. Anarchy. Anarchy means lawlessness, rebellion. The absence of the teacher in the class resulted in an anarchy. Preserved. Preserved means maintained. Maintaining something, preserved. We preserved the milk in the refrigerator. Curtailed. Curtailed means restricted, reduced. My entertainment was curtailed due to the ensuing examinations. Curtailed means restricted, reduced. Consideration. Consideration means scrutiny. He is under serious consideration for selection. He is under serious scrutiny, concern for selection. Contract. See this word, contract. If the stress is on contract, it is a commitment. Some contract that we sign, some commitment that we make. If the stress is on the second tract, T, if it is here, it becomes contract, expand and contract, it becomes a verb. Here it is a noun, contract is a commitment. Conventional. Conventional means normal, traditional, normal means of living. Conventional ways of living. He follows the conventional ways of living. Tyranny. Tyranny is dictatorship, autocracy. Autocracy, dictatorship. People hate tyranny. Autocracy. Entitled. Entitled is a word which means permitted, allowed, permitted, granted. Fancy. Fancy is desire. Indifferent. Indifferent. Unconcerned. Unconcerned. Uninterested. You should remember this word, indifferent. See, the opposite will be asked, and they will ask you, they will give you the first option different, which you should not write. Indifferent means uninterested. The opposite is interested, not different. Interfere. Interfere means to hinder, to obstruct. Liable. Liable means likely. Maelstrom. Maelstrom means total disorder, utter confusion. Utter confusion. Outraged. Outraged means infuriated, making you someone angry. Infuriated. Insolence. Insolence means rudeness. Rudeness. Inquire. Inquire means like enquire, it is ask. Inquire, ask. Ridiculous. Ridiculous means comical. Something comical. Stout. Stout means fat. Fat, full figured. Shandy. Shandy means lemonade, a drink which is made up of lemons. Shandy. Liberty is freedom. Liberty is freedom. These are some of the meanings where you should be able to understand when you come across these words in this lesson, and at the same time I would desire that you people should also know few more words regarding the same, like unconcerned means uninterested. You should know synonymous words so that it will help you to write the antonyms very correctly and easily. And you should not make mistakes when certain words like indifferent, which are very tricky. The opposite, the first option will be different, which is not the answer. The answer is interested. So you have to be very careful in such words. Ridiculous means opposite is serious. These are all very easy things that you can understand by knowing the meaning and writing it. Now let us go to the lesson. Going into the lesson, the author begins his essay with an anecdote, quoting a stout lady walking with a basket in the middle of the road in Petrograd. Petrograd is a city in Russia. It is St. Petersburg. It is called St. Petersburg, Petrograd. And stout lady walking in the middle of the road with a bag. When she is pointed out that the place for the pedestrians is the pavement, they are not supposed to walk in the middle of the road. The lady replied that she was going to walk wherever she liked. She thought that she had the liberty to do so. She thought that she was entitled to such liberty. It did not occur to that lady that if the pedestrian is entitled to walk in the middle of the road, the end of such liberty would be universal chaos. If she is entitled to walk in the middle of the road, then the cab driver will be entitled to drive in the pavement. The end result will be utter confusion, universal chaos. Everybody would be getting into everybody else's way, and nobody would get anywhere. Nobody would get anywhere. The individual liberty would have become social anarchy, it would have become a social anarchy, confusion, lawlessness. There is a danger of this world getting liberty drink in these days, like the lady with the basket walking in the middle of the road. And so the author feels that it is just as well to remind ourselves what the rule of the road means. Rule of the road. What is rule of the road? According to the author, A.G. Gardner, the rule of the road means that in order that liberties of all may be preserved, everybody's liberties must be curtailed. The rule is very simple. In order that liberties of all may be preserved, everybody's liberty should be curtailed. That is what the author means by means of the rules. When you see, the author says that he cites another example regarding a policeman at a Piccadilly Circus. A policeman at Piccadilly Circus. Piccadilly Circus is a circus means in Latin it is circle. It is a famous signal point, a famous road junction in London. Suppose a policeman steps into the middle of the road and stops. He stops you. He pulls up your car, he stops you. His act is not that, it is not the symbol of tyranny, but it is the symbol of liberty. We may not think so. We may, being in a hurry and seeing our car being pulled up by this insolence of office, we may feel that our liberty, our individual liberty has been enraged, has been infuriated. We might feel that. We might feel and ask that, oh, dare this fellow interferes with our free use of the public way. But if we are reasonable, we will reflect, we can understand that if we did not interfere with our right, if he did not interfere with my right, he is not going to interfere with anyone else's right. He would interfere with no one. And the result would be that this Piccadilly Circus would become a complete maelstrom. It would become a disorder, complete disorder state. So, in fact, the act of the policeman is one of liberty and not tyranny. By listening to him and stopping, we have in fact submitted ourselves to a curtailment of our own individual liberty, so that we may enjoy a social order and make our liberty a reality, so that we can cross when there is order, when one goes one by one, everyone will be able to leave that place. If there is going to be utter confusion and everyone comes in each other's way, there is going to be a maelstrom. So what becomes necessary here? The curtailment of individual liberty in order to accommodate other people's liberty. This is one of the examples that he has quoted. Moving further, the author says that liberty is not a personal affair, but it is a social contract. Liberty is not a personal affair, but a social contract. He says it is nothing but an accommodation of interests. It is an accommodation of interests. In matters that we do not interfere into other people's liberties, we are free to do anything. Suppose, the author says, suppose if he intends to walk down the road wearing a long dressing gown, on barefoot and uncombed hair, unruly hair, he has the liberty to do so. no one will ask him why he has gone like that, wearing a gown. No one will say no. The people will laugh at him, they have the liberty to laugh at him, and he has the liberty to be indifferent to them. He need not be concerned about why they laugh. The author says that if he had the fancy of dyeing if one has the fancy of dyeing his hair, whether he is going to dye it in the brown color or black color, whether he is going to sleep late, or whether he is going to get up early, whether he is going to wear an overcoat, whether he is going to wax his mustache, whether he is going to wear the sandals, it doesn't matter. Nobody is going to ask him why is he going to do all these things. It is his own individual right and liberty, where he does not poke into anyone else's liberty. It is his own individual liberty. He is entitled to do that. If the author wishes. So, he is not, in the same way, the author is also not going to inquire. Anyone is not to inquire of you whether you are going to eat your mutton with mustard, whether you are going to follow this religion or that religion, whether you are going to read Ira Wheeler Wilcox or Wordsworth, whether you are going to drink champagne or shandy. He is not going to ask you, and neither do you require anyone's permission to do that. These are all things concerned with one's own liberties, and each individual is entitled to do whatever he thinks, because he is not going to affect anyone else's liberty. These are all things that are in a little kingdom of liberty. And when inside the kingdom of liberty, we are the kings, we rule all around by ourselves, and we can do whatever we choose to do. Whether we want to be ridiculous or wise, whether we want to be conventional or odd, whether we want to be conventional or odd, it doesn't matter. All these things are not going to matter. Whether we are going to be very harsh to someone, whether we are going to be very easy with someone, it doesn't matter. But once we step out of that kingdom, then our liberty becomes qualified to other people's liberties. For example, let us discuss what the author says about playing the trombone. The author says that if he intends to play the trombone is a musical instrument. If he intends to play the trombone in the middle of the night, from middle of the night to 3 in the morning, if he intends to play that, he can go and do it on the top of Mount Everest and please himself. Nobody is going to question him anything about it. But if he does the same thing inside his bedroom, right from 12 o'clock in the night to 3 o'clock in the morning, then his family will object to it. And if he is going to play that same thing in the street, the entire neighborhood will object to it. They will remind him that his liberty to play the trombone must not interfere with their liberty to sleep peacefully in quiet. Now we can see that our liberty has become qualified to other people's liberty. This is what he says through a way of example. The author next moves on and says that there are a lot of people in this world. And he has to accommodate his private individual liberty to their liberties. But he feels that we are liable to forget this. He feels that people are liable to forget this. And unfortunately, people are more concerned about the imperfections of others in this respect than of their own. the author says a reasonable consideration for the rights and feelings of others is the basis of social conduct. He emphasizes that a reasonable consideration for the feelings and rights of others is the basics of social conduct. He clearly says that it is in this small matters of conduct, like in the observance of the roads, observance of the rules of the roads, that we can pass judgment upon ourselves and declare whether we are civilized or uncivilized. The author concludes the lesson saying that great moments of heroism and sacrifice are very rare, but it is these little habits of commonplace intercourse, the little habits that occur in a common place. It is the little habits of commonplace intercourse that makes up the sum of life, it makes up this great sum of life, and sweeten or bitter the journey. That is, if you are going to do those little things lawfully, like following the rules of the road, etc., if you are going to do these little matters of conduct in a lawful way, taking into consideration others' liberties, then we are going to be civilized, and the journey of our life will be sweet. If we don't do so, if we are not going to follow the rules in these little matters, then definitely we will be regarded uncivilized, and our journey of life will be bitter. This is what the author says in this essay regarding the rules of the road and its observance. Now finally, let us conclude this lesson. The conclusion. Through this lesson, we come to understand that Gardiner, he emphasizes on the need to create a civilized society by means of curtailing our own individual liberties to an extent, so that we may fit in other people's liberties and enjoy a better social order and make our liberty a reality. He illustrates this argument that if individual liberty is let loose, it can be converted into social anarchy through a number of examples and situations that are easily imaginable and understandable. He observes that only a reasonable consideration of feelings and rights for others can lay the basis for a better social conduct. He says a reasonable consideration for the feelings and rights of other people is the basis of social foundation. He states that kindness and love towards all living things is the mark of a civilized society. It is the mark of kindness and compassion towards all living things is the mark of a civilized society. Gardiner teaches us these basic truths of life. There lies its uniqueness in teaching these basic truths of life in an amusing, amazing, and interesting manner, which keeps the reading engaged. I hope you have understood this lesson clearly and you can go through the short answers as well as the meanings and the opposites and the paragraph questions and write them well. Thank you until we meet again. See you. Bye.